The allure, the fanfare of World War II, they're kind of like left out of the newspaper stories, the newscasts. So I kind of wanted to put a face, put a voice to it, to actually have people care. If that makes sense.
Yep.
And Nate, how about you?
Yeah, I kind of remain bowled over by what Rosie was able to accomplish and his courage and, learning about him and getting to, watch some interviews with him when I was preparing for it. Just like the way people spoke about him, it wasn't just he was this man of tremendous honor, but also this man of great warmth and grace. And I was like, all right, if I can sort of balance those two, because in one hand, you're kind of like just astounded by what, his choice to go back and to remain with them. But also, he led with with just this, this warm sort of, he was just this warm handshake of a guy. I try to just sort of balance it between those,
And Anthony, what about you? Your character is a very interesting character. He starts really in a place of kind of embarrassment and projectile vomiting, and he ends up to be, true hero.
Yeah, I think for me it was that what attracted me. Like when I read the script, I read the first couple of episodes, and everyone felt like they were in Band of Brothers, and Crosby felt like he was in an Adam Sandler B movie. Everyone was being very heroic and smoking and looking cool, and Crosby was going, "Oh God, I can't do this," and throwing up on people. And I thought, I want to play that guy. That's the guy for me. I just don't know. I just found him so interesting. There was a 10-minute clip of him speaking when he's in his 70s in the nose of a B-17, and he'd been through so much trauma, so much hurt, so much heartache, and he still spoke with such humor and such lightness, and I thought that was a real good inspiration, I wanted to play him.
Yeah. And Callum, how about you? Now your character was, his buddy kept him grounded, but he clearly had a temper, and what about that character did you latch on to?
I mean, there was a lot I latched onto. There was a lot that I liked about John Egan, and he has that temper, and he drinks a lot, and he dances, and he sings, and he wants to have a good time. But underneath all of that is a human that wants the best for the world. And him and Cleven joined up before Pearl Harbor. And that says a lot about him. He wanted to fight the good fight in the way that he knew how or thought how. And I just had so much respect for him. At the beginning of the war, this was an experiment. They lost a lot of men, and they didn't really know what they were doing. The bloody 100th was all over the place. At one point, General LeMay was going to shut that squadron down.
Wow.
And it was just that ferocious spirit that I attached myself to and enjoyed.
Well, like what Josiah was saying about a generational disconnect, when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, man, would I have the courage to rise to the occasion? How often did that occur to you guys as you were kind of living?
As we got hand our coffees in the cockpit? No, that question would come into play, you know what I mean? And for me, I think we're spoiled these days.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. We have everything that we need, and the lads did try and create like the scenarios and the environment by being on the rig, and that question, yeah, definitely crossed.
I'd say, sorry. No, I was just going to say, for me, on a daily basis, filming, I was always reminded of just how young they were. I was 23, 24 when we were shooting it, and Ken Lemons was 19. He's in charge of up to 50 men responsible for their lives. And even just kind of trying to put yourselves in those shoes on the day of filming, it's impossible but you can try and relate and try and get yourself there. But thinking my little brother, who was 19 at the time, thinking of putting him in a position like that and trying to kind of go back into 1942 and see what these guys were doing. Every day I was always reminding myself, and it was hard to kind of even put yourselves in those shoes to get there.
I definitely think that I myself was constantly reminded of the ease in which we live in the society today. The cars, you just press start, you go. You have no real understanding or wherewithal of even what you're doing. And for specifically Lieutenant Macon to be that astute, you know, with numbers and mathematics with these planes, it's, to me, it wasn't like they were just like, you know, flying to drop off cargo somewhere. You know, I mean, they're flying to kill somebody, you know? And I feel like that type of levity, I think, kind of all the guys carried it because we're all lifting each other up, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was the biggest thing as far as connecting wise, where it's like, it's not about you, it's bigger than you. And I think that is kind of one of the, you know, detachments of the, you know, I guess the generation, because it's like people are just for them today, you know, and these men couldn't be. So
Also the percentages are so severe. I think 77% of men would go down, you know, and wouldn't come home. So, you know, they were putting themselves in the most volatile situations known to mankind ever. And they did it because they were fighting for something they believed in. They were fighting for each other.
Well, you know, one of the things that came through in Technicolor was that they were made brave because of the camaraderie of the other members of the 100th, I think. And you shot this for a long time, and while COVID was raging in the UK. So what was the bonding like between all you guys? I mean, who was the best prankster among you? What are some highlights here? Was there a ringleader?
Back off. We played games. Yeah. Why am I saying that weirdly? But we did play games. We played like dice games, and someone else say something.
You mentioned camaraderie. Yeah.
Mike.
What happened?
Mike.
You know, Gary, you make all these great documentaries about musicians. They always are like this with the mic.
I don't use a fucking mic.
I'm showing this generation down.
Sorry, Leslie. But the camaraderie thing extends to a lot of places when you have something go on this long. And just by crook, no planning. We have a few people in the audience. I have to have stand up and say hello to us really quick. And I know the boys are going to love this too. The man who wrote all the music, every note in this fucking show, Blake Neely.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's just a pup. Look at him. Wow. Also here, the greatest living costume designer on the planet, Colleen Atwood. Somebody make her stand up. Colleen, where are you? Get the light. Come on, let everybody see it. Right. Mark Chichevsky is the editor on every one of these episodes. And boy, we lived together, didn't we, brother? I really miss you. I love you dearly. And Mike Minkler, multi-Academy Award winning greatest mixer on the planet, is here. Mike, where are you with those stupid glasses? There you are. Fantastic. And lift Jack up too. Here's our supervising sound designer. Look at them, they're hanging together still. Still sitting together at the board. Can't beat it. Mike, thank you so much for letting me point out people here who we love dearly.
Listen, absolutely.
Oh, and David Shields, one of the cast members. David Shields there. David, stand up. David Shields. We love David. All cast on. Anyone else who's in the cast? Yeah, there we go. Sorry, Spielberg, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God! Sawyer Spielberg in the house. Tell Dad we were good.
Well, okay, you want to shout out more people?
No, I guess I just wanted to say that.
Well, what about Isabel?
Isabel, we did, didn't we?
We
could do her again.
My mum is in the audience, and I'm just.
Anyway, I know this event was for a different purpose, but you don't get to see things you do for Apple and other streamers in a theater like this. Yep. And to be able to see it here, rumor kind of spread out, and we had some crashers who I'm so happy they came. And thank you for that opportunity, Mike, because
Sure,
this is
sure.
your guys' event. Okay.
So Gary, this one's for you. So you got these young guys and a whole bunch of other young guys, 325 of them to be precise, and you're all away on a road trip and you're shooting this thing for like a year at the height of COVID in the UK, where they were really strict. And Barry said they were playing games. Probably a lot of them were kind of drinking games, I would imagine. So what was it like to keep all these guys in line at a time when, and how big of a factor was COVID when you shot?
Wow.
Wow. This production spent $60 million on COVID.
Wow.
That's prevention, that's being closed down on days. If anybody was in a restaurant and somebody got COVID in it, the NHS would nick everybody and you would have to stay in your house for 10 days. And people in England believe the NHS. They call you, they knock on your door. They are a fabulous organization.
They're also here. Stand up.
Hey, you know what?
That was good.
We keep talking about how great these boys are. I've got to mention Lucy Bevan, who is the greatest casting person in the world, who cast this show. And for the amount of speaking roles that we had and all the problems we had, and nobody really got cast in person. They were all cast on Zoom, if you can believe that. And so, anyway, she was just fabulous.
But you didn't answer my question. I'm sure you were the one who was responsible for checking up on these young men and making sure they weren't gathering in a crowd and that they were doing all those protocols. How big of a challenge was that, and who was the biggest violator?
You really want to know, don't you?
I do.
Barry,